Hey, welcome to our collective reading. I'm Empress Rose. These are general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Yeah, there we go. And let's see here. As I was preparing for our reading today, I can see in my little scrying ball like a lop-eared bunny. It's a little like sad, but I can't tell if it's sad just because lop-eared bunnies look a little sad, or if that's actually what it's feeling. And there's also a song that's been coming through. I think it's come through before. I don't know why this song, but it's I'd Stop the World and Melt with You by Modern English. So we have started off with the Dreamscape Oracle by Matt Hughes. This is interesting because we have memory, and the song repeated from months ago that came through in a reading. So we have, wistful memories, fond memories. Maybe that's what this bunny is being, is wistful, because it's pretty much the same expression on the bunny's face. So yeah, a memory of some kind coming in this week. Oh, but I love it because it's right next to the sun bear, which we got last week too. The sun bear, so healing. There's something from the past, a memory, maybe a repeated memory, maybe the way things unfold sometimes, that we have this healing here. And maybe it's a memory that resurfaces that does bring some healing, remembering how somebody was or how something was, that can bring some healing. But there is some sort of healing with a memory, healing from a memory, repeated memory, a memory that comes up often. But I love the sun bear here with this memory. There's something about healing the past. And either the past is going to be healing something in your present as you remember something, or you're going to be experiencing, and what if it was both? That would be exciting. And you're going to experience healing from a memory. Like the memory will bring healing, and then there might also be a memory that is, you experience healing from that, and it's, like those repetitive sort of PTSD things. There might be some healing there for that as well. So, what was I doing? Wow. Speaking of memory. All right, we have the Urban Crow Oracle here. This is an oracle deck, not a tarot deck. So, although you can use an oracle deck like a tarot deck if you want. All right, Urban Crow Oracle. Maybe that's what I should have done. These kind of feel like a story. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so look at this. This is the memory. This is the memory of an injury, of a wound, and the fear that comes in with, as our whole, I feel like there might even be like a whole body memory here that comes in as something approaches. You may have been injured by a hand before, and then here comes a hand, and there's a flinching. There's a flinching because these hands have not been raised in healing, but only in harm. Not only in harm, but that's the memory you carry with us. Our hands raised in harm. And then someone raises a hand and we experience a flinch from the memory. The body remembers. Oh, but here now there's a hand underneath, a supportive hand. A supportive hand. And that supportive hand underneath is indicating healing. Like there's a solid place to stand here. There's a solid place to, it's that support underneath that's the difference. There's the hand coming in over the top, which I think is connected to this memory. This memory of something, of mischief, or of something that went on, some shenanigans occurred. And so this may have, see, in this mischief card, what I see is something that it may be in fun, but may have actually triggered some old memories, or something that may just have been some friend, you know, different people have these different ideas of like friendly teasing and friendly, but it might not have felt friendly to the person receiving it. It might have triggered up some old memories of when this was actually a serious situation. So this is called mischief. We're just playing, we're just having fun, we're just goofing around, or it's just this not necessarily like meant to cause as much harm. But with this memory, the injury, I feel like this may be triggering something up for you from something that happened before, in which this wasn't just playful mischief, but was actually much more serious and severe, a wound from the past. So with this memory, there is this sort of like PTSD thing, or not PTSD. There's something being stirred up, which is similar to that, a past trauma, a past hurt, a past wound from something, you know. And this cat is not having a good time. I mean, they're staying where they are. They're staying right there. So they're clearly not having a full-on instinctual need to run, but they're also not having a good time. The crows are having a good time. Crows are having lots of fun, enjoying this whole event, and the cat is becoming more and more alarmed. And so with the memory card here, it just feels like this injury is being triggered, right? The hand is coming in here, and the crow is very afraid of that, like, this wound, or this BS again, or this whatever's coming in here again is happening again. But we can see that it's not actually happening again. This hand beneath it is the healing. This may be creating the flinching memory, and this is creating the healing. There's actually supportiveness. So perhaps this hand isn't coming into harm. This is a general tarot reading, so maybe you know your situation better, but there's a possibility, consider the possibility that something here is actually supportive, and this is part of a supportive environment that's coming together, not necessarily a wounding environment, although you may fear that, because these two cards coming together feel that way to me. Like there's alarm here. You are feeling very alarmed, but there is some healing that's actually coming in here. And then we have rebirth, and this is supporting that whole interpretation. There's a new way of doing something, a new approach. There's the rebirth. There's the mischief and the injury, and I think that these are together. And then we have the rebirth, the sun bear, and we even have the sun right here, just kind of reiterating the new day, that it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new day. The sun is rising. We do have a new way of doing something. There's something old here that's being flushed from the body, or it's like an X-ray, only it's like reality, like the flesh, or this old memory is unnecessary now. All of these feathers here, unnecessary now. Not part of where you're going. The molting idea of losing, and feathers being so light and so airy, they're reminding me of memory. She actually is holding a feather in her hand right here. And here we're seeing this molting, the loss of all these feathers. Hopefully we're not talking memory loss, although we could be talking memory loss for some people, or perhaps their loved ones, right? That happens when people have like Alzheimer's or something. This, the hands that come in to cleanse and heal and feed can often, because the memory of that person, or the memory of where they are, or understanding where they are in space, or their ability to read the room, or even the help and the assistance in the room is lost. So it can be very frightening as well. So this is also supporting the idea that we might be talking about healing memories coming in, but also like remembering, oh wait, this is the one that heals. This is the one that feeds me, not the one that harms me. Or this is the situation that's healing, not the one that's harming. And remembering both sides of that, right? And so the fear that sometimes accompanies memory loss, when in fact there's healing coming in here, or there's something meant to help you. There's other memories that can override that are overriding that. But we're cleansing of those. We're cleansing of that and coming into a space where we're understanding what's being offered here. We're understanding that today is a new day. It's not that day. It's not that day. It's not that moment. It's not that time. Trick is going to get the mind maybe can comprehend this, but the trick will be getting the body to join in on the healing and the renewal. And didn't we get rebirth is assured last week too? I know that we did. It was a bat in that one. A rebirth is assured. And here we have this other rebirth and the sun bear both coming in here. So there's healing and a new approach, a new, I don't know. It seems like we're just healing from some sort of like freaked out space. Like we got spooked. Or somebody got spooked here and recoiled from the stimulus. And so now it's like, okay. It's the recovery from the flinch or the spook or something like that. So, all right, now we're on to the tarot. So, wow, okay. From the bottom of the deck, overall for the reading, we have 3 of Swords. So, pain, suffering, heartbreak. Could the memory of it, perhaps? We have these 3 crows here. We have the 3 crows here, which is looking like the 3, and crows, the feathers, especially being prominent here, about words that may have been spoken, thoughts and words and ideas that may have harmed and hurt. And that's the area of the swords, is communication and thoughts that may have harmed. Oh, this reminds me of gossip too. Of just like, we're just having a good time here, ha ha ha. And then there's actually like someone that's actually being sort of at the center of that. So I'm hearing sort of the cawing with these 3 of Swords. There's been some sort of painful event, some sort of painful situation that's really, I think, triggered an old memory or an old wound or something like that. And so, yeah, these 3 of Swords here, looking like these 3 of crows creating mischief. And maybe, they're just having a good time, but there's actually like damage being caused or alarms being raised in other areas. So, yeah, 3 of Swords, heartbreak, painful, emotional pain and suffering, sometimes caused by words and ideas. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Okay, in the recent past, we have the Page of Pentacles. We have 2 pages, which makes sense with the immaturity level in this past, in this situation. We're gonna, okay. All right, in the recent past, we have Page of Pentacles. So this is often a childlike energy, but it can be a real child. It can be a real person, a real child, a real student. So the Pentacles to me can sometimes talk about like actual flesh and blood page, an actual child, actual real person that we would all define as immature, physically immature. But this can also be someone new because it's Pentacles. It can be new to a job, new to a situation, new to something where they don't necessarily know how everything's done. They don't know like the subcultures and the unspoken rules, or maybe even all of the rules and all of the unspoken ideas here either. So someone who's very new at something, either a job or just at life, and they're in their prepubescent stage or their newbie stage, and they're actually very new. Current situation, we have 9 of Cups. So somebody here, perhaps you, is feeling very proud of themselves. Maybe you started something new and you're feeling very happy with how far you've come so far. Nine of Cups talks about public praise, but not necessarily public praise. It talks about public being happy with how you're seen, being happy with how you're known, being happy with your own emotional maturity, feeling very emotionally satisfied with a situation and with what you've concluded and what you've done, or somebody is. Perhaps someone's feeling very smug here. They accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. They ruffled some feathers. Or maybe you're happy about like your healing journey so far and what you've been able to accomplish. But there is some amount of satisfaction and happiness and emotional happiness. And there's also a desire to share that with others, to share how satisfied you are, to share how happy you are, to share how far you've come perhaps in an emotional journey and adjustment. So there's some amount of happiness and pride in your happiness. Hopes, fears, and inner landscape, we have Page of Swords. So this could be you learning how to communicate something, but I also see this with this Nine of Cups. There's a sense of accomplishment here, and maybe like there's emotional accomplishment, emotional maturity has been achieved here, and you're very proud of it, or somebody is. I feel like there could be two ways that this one is being seen as, and they could be simultaneous in the same story, but also different for different people. So I feel like there's this one sense where somebody is very smug about how they are and how they are emotionally, how they have maybe a lot of emotional control, or they're very happy with where they're at. Emotionally, and it's not necessarily you, but smug is what keeps kind of coming in here. Someone feels very smug. I think with this mischief, I think that's sort of coloring that card and how that can come across. The other way this could be is that you're feeling very satisfied with your growth. Perhaps you are feeling very smug as well, but there is a sense of satisfaction and also wanting people to see that you are happy, see that you're fine, see that you're okay and you're good. But this Page of Swords now is coming in also as two separate things, as two possibilities. One is that you are the Page of Swords, and that from this emotional stability you've achieved, you're learning how to communicate that and how to bring that out into the world, how to bring your inner peace into situations, how to radiate out intentionally into situations who you are and what you value, and communicate in some way, learning how to communicate your own inner peace or your own inner emotional well-being, and learning how to communicate that and wanting to communicate that even if it's a little awkward. So the Page of Swords is always, to me, like speak your truth even if your voice shakes. So you may want to say something, want to speak up about something. This is something that you might be thinking about doing, even though it might be difficult for you, even though it's out of your comfort zone of things you try, things you want to communicate and things you want to say, even though it's outside that comfort zone. The page is just beginning. So they're out of their comfort zone. This page is out of their comfort zone. This page is out of their comfort zone. They're learning a new skill. This one has a sense of discovery, or like, they have something and they're beginning to grow that thing. And this one is really about learning a skill. So this page is always like the driving test in the car with the instructor or whatever. And this is the reading the driving exam, or doing the written test. So Page of Swords more about communication, written word, and so maybe someone achieved something or started a new job and you're like, how do I do that? Or thinking about going back to school. The Page of Swords could be someone thinking about going to school. The Page of Swords is the student. The Page of Pentacles is beginning the practical work, and the Page of Swords is a student. So maybe someone here is thinking about, this is your inner landscape, so you could be thinking about going back to school, thinking about becoming a student of something, perhaps thinking about taking a class, wanting to take a class. And then there's also this like little bit of a story over here about someone you're thinking about that said something very awkward. or was trying to do something. You know, a page with a sword is actually a little bit of a dangerous thing. So this person may have been, you may be thinking about someone who is either younger or new at something, and they may have been communicating in a way that was very unhealthy in an attempt to communicate something else, or an attempt to communicate, but it wasn't fabulous. It wasn't well done. We would never even expect a page to do like expert, a page and a king with a sword, a page and a knight with a sword. Two very different energies approaching a sword and wielding a sword. And since we have the Three of Swords here, we may be thinking about someone who said something very hurtful, perhaps on accident. Perhaps there you were new about learning how to communicate and figuring out how to communicate something, and said something unintentional, right? I mean, I personally would not want to be around a Page of Swords as they're learning and figuring out how to do things, because it just seems like a really good place to get cut and wounded. But we all have to start somewhere. So with communication or jobs or careers or whatever, we all have to start somewhere. So although it may not be, you know, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing shitty a bunch of times. So I always heard that the opposite way. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well, which is sort of this perfectionist idea, and doesn't ever allow you to be a student, to be a newbie, to have a learning experience in which you grow. And then when we're having those learning experiences, it's really important to make sure that we're not having shame for not having known what we know now. Right, because that person that didn't know what you know now, they did choose to go, the old you did choose to go on a journey to learn what you know now. And so we can't, as we're growing and learning and moving forward on our earthly experience, learning things, we can't be feeling shame about the things we didn't know. And, you know, oh, how could I have been so stupid? Or how could I have been so, you know, clumsy or whatever. Well, you just didn't know. You just didn't know. We all start out as clumsy ballerinas. The highest ballerina started out as a little klutzy little girl in class or boy in class that didn't, you know. And if we feel shame on the whole path and the whole way, we're just feeling shame and like, oh gosh, now that I know that, I feel so stupid, then that's just really not going to work. So since right, because we have this one, this proud accomplishment of 9 cups. Well, what if the Page of Cups never started on the journey? Or what if each cup that they acquired, they're like, can you believe I used to only have 3 cups? Oh my gosh. And I thought it was so many. And now I have 4. I was so like, what if we do have shame about all of the times when we didn't have 9 cups, when we only had 7 cups or 5 cups or even 1 cup? We can't be feeling shame about that or feeling bad about that, or you know, we can feel proud. This is what's coming here with these pages and bookending this 9 of Cups is a sense of being able to feel proud of where you are and proud of where you were. So what's at issue here is 3 of Wands. This really surprised me. You'd think I'd read ahead sometimes. I say this every time. But 3 of Wands, a loss of faith. There's so much confidence here, and yet there's a loss of faith in the future. We don't think we can go there. Well, with all this page energy, it just seems like, boy, we are never going to get there like this. We got 2 pages here that are just, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows how to communicate. No one knows how to do the job. And yet somehow all this ignorance is like, very proud of where we are right now. You know, the ignorance what do I want to say? Like, it's important to also feel pride in your ignorance, because that drives you in acknowledging and understanding all that you don't know, because that drives you to become better. There's just a really important message here, especially with the memory and this past thing of, when you know better, you do better, but don't go back and be like, I mean, we are sometimes ashamed of what we didn't know, but it's all part of this journey. So there's this place where, I posted it on Twitter today about, you know, the pearl being the grit inside the grit So don't be an oyster that's like, God, I'm so embarrassed about that grit I had. Oh gosh, good thing it became a pearl. Like you did that, you made it a pearl, you made it really valuable. So don't be ashamed of the grit, because now here it is, it's this valuable thing, this valuable nugget of wisdom. And so, but there's, maybe you don't think you can do it again, or maybe you don't see where this goes now. We've got two immature people that almost looks like a baseball pitcher and a hitter here. We've got a little baseball game going on. This totally looks like a pitcher. How have I never noticed this? He's like prepping to throw the ball. And then we've got this one who's like, we need a pitcher, not a belly itcher. And it's like a kid's little league game. This is like a little league game. And then we've got our umpire here who's like very happy to be here. This is a little league game. I don't know how many people are going to a little league game this week, but this is cracking me up. All right, anyway, but there's a loss of faith. There's like, we're never going to get there. We're never going to make it. This is definitely, yeah, there's a sense of we're never going to get there. We're just never going to get there. There's a lot of discouragement here. We have these 2 pages, and then we have like the adults driving the car that are like, oh, they're never going to make it. They're never going to make it. These kids, what's going to happen to them? There's just this loss of faith of just, yeah, we're never going to make it is what I keep seeing. This can't possibly work. This can't possibly produce anything. But it's this memory here, this past memory. I want to say something about T-ball. Like when you, or golf or something. But you got to start out somewhere. You got to start out with T-ball. I mean, you don't have to, but you know, that's a pretty common place to start with that game, to play that game. You should never be ashamed of ever having used, you know, the tee. Oh, I guess that's where the golf's coming in as well, as the tee. That's what I'm seeing here. So heartbreak and a loss of faith, and then we have these pages, and somehow there's like someone's really proud of something in the middle of that. So in your environment, this is the energy that might be surrounding you or someone in the environment. It's the 8 of Swords, which matches this perfectly. Loss of faith and like, well, I can't do anything. I can't make any move. Somebody here feels like they can't do anything about it. They can't fix anything. They can't go anywhere. They could. But they can't because they don't think that they can. So that's the main problem, is someone is blocking themselves from the freedom to move forward. They don't think they can. They don't think they can do anything about this. They don't think they can change anything about this. They don't think that, perhaps even they don't think that they did anything wrong, so they can't fix anything. They don't think that they can, or maybe they were involved in this mischief and they're just like, well, I can't fix it. My hands are tied. I actually don't even want to take an accurate assessment of the situation. But in fact, the situation is not even remotely as dire as this person feels like it is. So we always say, like, they can get out of this situation. No, they're not blocked in here. They are loosely tied. They could easily, not easily, but with a little bit of effort, they could get out of the situation that they find themselves in, that they're bound in. However, unless their mind has a reason to believe that, they won't. Because if you think you can't, you can't. Because you're not going to see the possibilities, and you're not going to make the attempts, and you're not going to try. So if you're pretty convinced this heartbreaking thing that maybe happened in the past, there's no hope that it'll ever get fixed. And if you are convinced of that, or someone here is very convinced of that, then they don't do anything. They don't lift a finger to fix it because they don't believe it can be fixed. So why try? It's that thing I talk about sometimes about the drawer. If you know you put the Sharpie in that drawer and you did it 10 minutes ago, you're going to look through that drawer very differently than if you think the Sharpie could be in about 10 different drawers. I'll just kind of, I don't know, I'll just buy a new one because I don't think I'm going to be able to find it in those drawers. But if you know you can find it, you look much more thoroughly because of the certainty you have. This person is very, in some way that word certainty is coming in here. They're very certain that nothing can be fixed here. there's a sense, but it's all self-imposed certainty. It's not real certainty. It's not external certainty. It's a self-imposed certainty that nothing can be fixed. And I'm not able to do a single thing here. So if you are waiting for someone else to fix a situation or to repair the heartbreak, keep waiting, because they don't believe it's possible. I wouldn't even try to... This is a damsel in distress that enjoys being a damsel in distress, that not consciously enjoys it, but subconsciously is fairly committed to the situation. Like a victim mentality, but that's like really their identity. I am the one who is stuck. I can't do anything. It's very much, it could be under this Page of Pentacles, it could be someone who's new. They're very convinced that they can't, they're not even going to try to fix a situation, because they view themselves as, it's possible. I don't want to talk crap about people I don't know, or people I do know, but it's possible that this person, this is an entrenched belief system. They can't fix it, and they are not going to try. They're the victim here. And so there could be someone in your environment that's very convinced that this heartache that perhaps they caused, or perhaps they were a part of in some way, it's actually them that's wounded. And they're actually the wounded party here. And they aren't going to budge or move, because it's somehow tied up in their identity. I am the damsel in distress. And maybe at some point they were the damsel in distress. Maybe at some point they were. So, but it seems like something that's wrapped them and bound them. So, here we have your to-do list, 3 of Cups. Have a party, enjoy your friends, enjoy your life. Similar to, I don't know why, like I swear this has been sort of the overall message for a very long time here. For the to-do list is have fun, have a party, go to the party, enjoy your friends, making friends, sharing. A 3 of Cups is traditionally the friendship card. It sits right underneath this one. So in some ways, I'm thinking that you might be the one who's happy with the situation. You're fine now. You're okay. And you're just here to have a good time. We're just here to have a good time. So feel free to go out with friends. Feel free to have a party. Enjoy yourself. I mean, there's healing. There's rebirth. There's all of this. So yeah, even maybe, well, not with harming other people, but having some mischief. Again, we have the 3 crows here. Maybe now the 3 crows can just go have a party and have some drinks and have a good time. So this is, yeah, just enjoying yourself, enjoying your friends, being grateful for the abundance that you have. There's a lot of food here. There's a little bit of a cornucopia. A little bit of, it's got feast vibes. The singing and dancing and feasting. So go out and do our modern equivalent of singing, dancing, and feasting. It's quite the opposite energy of this 3 of Swords. It's like, but it's talking about rebirth, healing, all of that. And possible outcome, Queen of Swords. This feels very similar to the last. This is in the future. Decisions will be made. Things will be communicated. The Queen of Swords is she sits under this Page of Swords. So there could be like a sense of figuring out the words you need to communicate something. The Queen of Swords is in possession of her own thoughts, her own ideas, and is able to communicate them. She's not really here to gentle the blows. This is gentling the blows. This is having a good time, relaxing, enjoying ourselves. No, does this outfit make my butt look big? And your thought is, I mean, yeah, girl, work it. And this is like, It does, and you probably need to work it a little more. Like this is like this friendly vibe, but don't worry, there's some truth coming in. It's going to be quite accurate. The person's going to speak their truth, not the truth. It's going to be their truth. They're going to be very clear about it, and they're not going to pussyfoot around. So that could be you coming into that. Like maybe you need to just let loose, cut loose a little bit, celebrate, enjoy, be satisfied with where you're at right now. And then there's somebody here, it could be you or it could be someone else, that's going to be communicating a very direct truth. So it sits underneath this Page of Swords. So you're still trying to figure out what you think about something and how to communicate about it and what you think about it. There's clarity here. This isn't a judge, this is the lawyer for one side. This is not the judge that's trying to decide between the two. The queens are more the lawyers that come in and argue their point and their side. They're not trying to see it from other people's point of view, because there's a validity in their point of view, and there's a validity in their truth that they are embracing and feeling empowered by. So this is someone, like, maybe you don't know what you think now about a situation, but you will. You will. And there's a sense of just going out, enjoying things, enjoying your friends and your family, if you enjoy those people too. But this Queen of Swords, that clarity is coming. It's coming. You're going to know what you think at some point. All right. All right. I thought that was going to go differently, but it went this way. It came very quickly. We have Moth Spirit, surrender now. Okay. Surrender now. So this is the Luna Moth. What is this? I swear, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that doesn't understand what surrender now means. Like, people say it, and I'm not 100% sure. There are a couple terms like that, like grace and surrender, and that people just say, and I'm not 100% sure what they mean or what really is meant by that. Surrender now seems to be like, go with the flow. Just go with the flow of things. And with these cups here, the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups, there's a sense of just going with the flow for now, and you'll know what you think later. So that's what I'm going to say. That's what I feel it means for us today, is going with the flow. Don't fight the natural flow, the natural order of things. It also feels a little bit like, don't stand in in front of someone else's karma bus. Like, don't push them out of the way of the karma bus that's going to hit them or whatever. Like, let what needs to unfold. And I think there's something about this that's going to bring you some clarity, and not just the clarity, but the ability to speak your truth. And this rebirth here, don't fight the healing. Don't cling to where you're at. That's it. Don't cling to where you're at. Like, I'm seeing sort of someone like doing a river float, and they're holding on to a branch. They're in an inner tube. It's good. It's fine. It's a mellow little float. And they're holding on to a branch, and they don't want to let go of where they're at and allow life to just move them effortlessly into another place. They don't want to let go. So this is saying, let go of the branch and let the river move you. And with these Cups cards here, that's what I'm seeing. This rebirth, there's something, I feel like there's something better or something clearer further ahead. There's something, and you won't get there if you don't sort of let go of the feelings you have right now, and maybe even this memory, maybe even this clinginess to this heartbreak, this clinginess to something over here on this shore. But this branch is truth. Yeah, but there's more truth over here. There's more truth. This branch is true. Sure, certainly is true. But there's more truth too. And it's not all just branches, like dead branches. So letting go of some sort of memory of how things went and allowing some sort of healing for how things can unfold, and allowing things to unfold and not defining them according to the past experience or the past hurt or the past wounds, but allowing something to unfold as it is and not necessarily unfolding. Right. It's the sense that we're clinging to an old memory of something that happened with a hand that came in. And this is saying, allowing, is it possible that this might be a different situation? Is it like not clinging to the past, and not just the past, but how you know things that is true. This dead branch is true. It's real. There's a dead branch, but letting go of the dead branch and letting some sort of new thing unfold. Because there's something about further down the line, something being, maybe you just came through some rapids and you're like, I'm sick of this river flow. I do not want to do it anymore. Don't make me do it. And but this is saying, like, let go and let it unfold. That's what I think. I'm like, I don't know what this means. 10 minutes on what this means. So Moth Spirit surrendering now. And in a way, I feel like that whole thing that we just had with this card is a metaphor for going from the page to the Queen. I don't know what this means. Letting something kind of ramble, see, rambling rose here, letting something sort of ramble through until you do know what it means. Okay, and then from the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle, we actually have two. I did not realize we had two. We have Sister of Shambhala. Here I like this leap idea. Put your faith in the light and believe that good things can happen and will happen. Well, have we forgotten this? This is like no, I don't want to do this river flow anymore. Those rapids were too intense. We do not need to deny darkness, or that we just went through some rapids, but nor do we need to place our minds there. There are lighter dwelling places into which our minds can settle. Trust the spring that follows winter. I'm going to just say here, what this is reminding me of is the sun and the light around both of their heads, like a halo, a lighter place. There are lighter dwelling places into which our minds can settle. This is the healing and the rebirth. Trust in the spring that follows winter. And then we have be guided now. Allow yourself to be guided. The guide cannot take the steps for you. That is your job. Okay, yeah, the people on the sidelines can only yell so much that you need to let go of the branch. You know what? This is making me think that there might be someone in your environment that's being an example to you of someone who is clinging to a past victim mentality or a past victim thing. And this might be a bad example for you to avoid, right? This might be someone that you're seeing, watching behave a certain way and starting to realize, like, am I doing the same thing? I don't want to be here for 20 years. So the guide cannot take the steps for you. That is your job. But the guide can show you the way. It's up to you if you choose to take it, whether you tread carefully, dance, or run along the sacred pathway towards the loving arms of the Holy Mother. She is always there to help you. So I also think that this is about dancing or running along the pathway, dancing along the pathway, and trying to lighten your footsteps as you move forward. Lightening the footsteps as we move forward. So I think that's what this Moth Spirit is about too. All right. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me. I very much appreciate your continued support of my channel, and we'll talk again later.